All right. So just like last time, we just want to multiply everything by the lowest common, or the lowest common multiple of these. So we have x and we have 3. So that means the LCM is 3 times x. So we're going to multiply everything by 3 times x. And like, technically what we're doing is we're doing this. But we're doing it to both sides. Right? Multiply everything on both sides by 3x. But we don't usually write it this way, but since we're just learning it, I wanted you to see that we're doing all the terms. And so we're really distributing. Normally, like I said, normally we wouldn't write it that way. Normally what we'd write is just this. I'll start over. Okay. Normally what we'd write would be 3x, and it's over 1. We're not getting common denominators. We're actually eliminating them. And in just a minute I'll show you why this works and why it doesn't work when we're adding fractions. Okay. So you multiply everything. So step 1, you multiply by the LCM, right? Step 2, reduce. That's the whole purpose, is to get rid of the denominators. So your denominators, they should go bye-bye, like that, see? Oh, hey. Dang. Well, say, I almost forgot that I was going to tell you guys that parallel lines make me really sad. Because they have parallel lines, yeah. Because they have so much in common, but they never meet. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. That was horrible. Actually, every time I tell a dumb joke like that, you lose IQ points.
H2O plus CO plus CO equals agua de coco.
Whoa. All right. Wow. Okay. You see this reduces, right? Those reduce, they make 1, so you're left with 3. And over here, the 3's reduce. They make 1, so you're left with 2 times x. Word of advice, if that's a negative, be very, very careful. That negative, if this is a negative, it really messes you up. You'll see why in a little bit. And then over here, x reduces with x. You're left with 1 equals 5. So, 2x equals 2, so x equals 1. A couple things we have to be careful of right here. First is this thing called, well, here's the thing. You know how you can't divide by 0? Remember we talked about that, I think, on the first day, did we? Like, why you can't, like, why this is bad? Refresh my memory. Did we talk about that or no?
Undefined.
Yeah, it's undefined, but do you know why? Well, you weren't here first day, but you're right, it's undefined. But they might know why. Well, that's how you recognize it's undefined. But okay, well, here, maybe we didn't talk about it. Check this out. I'm sorry, but you've been taught division wrong. It's true. You always say, and I do too. I'm in a bad habit. I was taught the same way. I always say 8 over 2 or 8 divided by 2, right? But what this really means is it means 2 times what equals 8. That's why it's 4. Because 2 times 4 is 8. That's what division is really doing. And so, like, if you had, yeah, we can see that. If you had 0 over 5, that means 5 times what equals 0. And that's why that equals 0. Because, right? Because 0 times 5 is 0. But this way, this means 0 times what equals 5, and there's nothing. That's why we call it undefined. Undefined really means that there's no definition. A lot of people write underfined, and that cracks me up. Underfined means like you got to find like at the library, but it was too little. Undefined means there's no definition, and that's because there's no number. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful that when we find a solution for x, that it doesn't make the denominator equal 0. So here, if we ended up with an answer that x equals 0, there would be no solution. But we got 1, so we're okay. But that'll crop up. You'll see problems in your homework and maybe on a quiz or a test where you do a whole bunch of work and at the end you get x equals 0, and it would be bad. Or, check this out. Sometimes he'll say you might end up with something like this, and like you get a whole bunch of other equations and equals other stuff, right? Here, x could be 0, but what x couldn't be is 1. So you always got to be careful of that. Questions so far? Dang, we're like butter on a roll. Yep.